No, okay, here it is. All right. So, yesterday, as you guys know, I was talking, and we were watching the origins of Reverend Tracey G, who we believe is a supervillain in the making. And we went through her 2011 to 2017 background. Well, today we will be going through her. We will be going through her current phase. We're going to 2017 through. Let's see here, 2019. All right, so let's check her out. Let's pull her up and let's see what we can figure out.
So, I went to the Fort Vancouver library,
Canada. That makes sense.
Van Mall location. And, you know, I've always felt uncomfortable there. I've just always felt uncomfortable there. Well, I was there. And I had to make copies for some dumb thing for social services. And I knew I was going to be spending about $10, $20 there making copies. And I had $5 in cash. So I was going to use that before I used my debit card.
Okay.
So I was making copies. I spent all my $5 making copies. This copy. Not just sliding it in and just letting it run and making copies. This was actual. I had to make photocopies of receipts. So I was in there a good 20 minutes before I spent the whole $5, but this is what I mean.
Okay.
I can't just slide these through a feeder because they're receipts. You know, they have to one at a time on the scan tray. So I was in there a good 20 minutes, and after that, I go to put my my head looks so small.
This one seems still kind of normal to me.
Come up here, I look normal. Anyway, so yeah, I did a bitty hit.
Okay, so, hold on. Whoa, what was that?
I put my debit card in there, and I'm reading how to do it, and a young woman, probably early 20s, late teens, maybe even a middle teenager, I don't know. I don't try to guess age. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, she says, you look, or may I help you? You look confused. Excuse me? I don't understand. And she goes, well, it seems to me like you might need some help. And I go, I don't need any help. I'm doing just fine. And she goes, well, you look confused. I said, well, now I'm confused. And she goes, well, let me help you. And I go, okay, please tell me why you think I looked confused when I'm reading how to work something.
Because you look confused. You look confused all the time, lady.
I would much rather read it for myself before I go ask.
Skipping ahead.
It feels so heavy all the time.
Skipping ahead.
You know, it is a warning saying that if I have a car I'm a resident of the state of Washington, my car has to be licensed in Washington. However, my business license is in Oregon, and because my business license is in Oregon, I lease my car in Oregon. So that being said, they should have run the plates before they leave a warning on my car. When I called the Vancouver Police Department, I said, you know, it is harassment. This is the third time I've found one on my car. And she said, no, it's a courtesy. And I said, no, 3 times. If it was somebody else coming and leaving something on my car or in the door, it'd be solicitation and harassment. You guys are not above the law. Anyhow.
Steve Royce, every morning you find examples on the internet that our civilization is on its death throes, and 2, the social media is a primary driver. Hey, I do what I can.
I want the behavior to stop. They need to run the plates because they'll find out who I leased the car from. Usually there's like a cluster bunch of people, you know, but everybody kind of knows who got there first and whatever, and there's 2 cashiers, and then, you know, we split off into 2 lines. Well, I'm there, and then a little while later, a white man comes up and kind of bullies his way in front of me, like there's 2 lines or something, and he just like keeps moving forward as that line goes, and I'm like, as it got to one person in front of him, I said, excuse me, I think I'm ahead of you, and he goes, there's always 2 lines, there's always 2 lines, and he got really mad, his face turned red. I said it once. Ed Baby building with home mortgage. So, yeah. I'm no longer going to patron this store. Thank you. I'm so freaking angry right now. In Washington state, landlords have to give you 48 hours notice to enter. The reason they have to give you 48 hours notice is so that you have the opportunity to call and reschedule. They can't just say, we're coming in 48 hours, make this allotted time. You have to be able to call and say, hey, you have to make a time to do this. That's the reason we have that law. However, my apartment complex, the Park Lane Apartments in Vancouver, Washington.
What are you doxing yourself?
48 hours, which, you know, is normally legit. But the reason in Washington State there's
bird, it's the bird. It's the bird. We're getting to the crazy parts. Oh, every time you hear the bird, you know it's coming.
That's why. It's not so that they can just give you the notice and come in. However, the possessions end up missing. Guess who I'm going for? 5:29 p.m. And I forgot to include in my letter, if any of my possessions end up missing. Guess who I'm going for? I have missed a day of work now. Telephone number to which the tenant may... because it's a rare...
Oh, here we go.
A copy with some person of suitable age and discretion.
Oh, shit.
And sending a copy through the mail addressed to the person entitled thereto at his or her place of residence. Thank you, Tracy G., resident. I'm angry. I'm distraught. This is affecting my mental health. I'm having trouble driving. There's no way I can focus on getting passengers anywhere safely. There's no way I can not run over a pedestrian because they're everywhere in Portland. There's no way I can be nice to my fellow drivers while sitting at the hub at the airport. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm scared. I'm about ready to go get a hotel. This is not supposed to happen. Do you know why I wish for everybody peace, love, and joy? Because it's a rare gift for me. Blessed be from Tracy G. Peace, love, and joy. Hey, this is Tracy G. And I feel like all I've done is complain lately, and most of the time, I like to keep things positive. But today at the grocery outlet, I asked for help finding Stink Pretty's air freshener and antibacterial spray similar to Lysol, and lady grabbed my control. I felt the need to switch counselors. And so I've been shopping around, and I thought, oh, I found a Native American counselor. This will be great. I called her, and we discussed things, and I told her about my anxiety, and I needed ongoing mental health counseling because of borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder due to early childhood trauma and repetitive habitual abuse even as an adult. So I have a few things, and I have a couple of muscle disorders that make me depressed sometimes, and I need a counselor. When I found one, and I thought, oh great, I got somebody. I can learn how to communicate with my daughter better. We'll be okay, right? Okay, so I go in today. I'm paying out of pocket because I figure, okay, if I pay, maybe I'll get a better counselor, right? No! I go in, and she starts asking me all of this money about my finances and things, and I'm like, dude, if I would have had this paperwork before, I could have had that all filled out, and I wouldn't be stressing. I don't know. You didn't tell me to bring any of that in with me. How am I supposed to know I need income verification? You didn't tell me any of this stuff that I needed, because I'm paying cash. I shouldn't have to do low-income paperwork. Anyway, so I'm panicking about that, and I'm telling her that I'm panicking. This woman says, I can cure that. I have the cure for your panic. If this woman had the fucking cure for panic, don't you think that somebody would be making some money off of that. If this woman had the cure for panic, somebody'd be making money off of that. So she tells me she has the cure and she's going to cure me.
Oh no.
And I'm panicking because of this financial thing. And so she says this, and I said, no, you do not have the cure. If you did, nobody would ever panic ever again in the whole world. And she goes, and anyhow, so then we get done with that part, and I finally get, okay, and then we're doing the rest of the other paperwork, and she's asking me some questions, and I'm trying to give her an answer, and I go, and I'm trying to get there, and I don't even get 2 words out of my mouth, and she cuts me off with another question.
Dude, we've been tracking this. We've been following it. She's getting worse and worse and fucking worse. Worse and worse and worse.
And going, oh, that. And I'm like, wait, I need to answer that. Can I answer that question first? This went on for about 8 questions in a row, rapid fire. And I was like, dude, I need you to let me answer questions. And then she's like, well, I need you to understand my background. I have a book. Do you want to learn more about me? And I'm like, I didn't come here and pay money to listen to you and your history. I'm here for my counseling. I'm not here to listen to your backstory. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, but I think it would help you understand me better. And I said, no, it won't. I'm here for you to help me. I'm not here to read your story. I'm not paying you by the hour to read your book about you. And I started panicking, and she's like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're still doing it. How are you a professional? This is my freaking field of expertise. And you're sitting there trying to tell me you know what you're doing. Ah! So I'm going to go in and get my money back. I would suggest that if you don't have any problems and you just want to go in and pretend everything's fine and do some breathing techniques, and she'll tell you she has a cure, that you go ahead and go see Cynthia Olivier. It's spelled Cynthia Oliver, but I guess it's Cynthia Olivier. Anyway, she is with Forward Directions Counseling in Vancouver, Washington, and I don't recommend her to anybody who has real serious mental illness.
Okay, lady. Dude. Are those cops? What's going on here? Oh, shit. Hold on.
3 or 4 times. Which shouldn't ever have to happen.
The landlords are calling because they don't want us here, and then the police come, and then the police knock and keep knocking and get more and more aggressive.
And then referring to a previous case just so we would
outside
know who they were.
In front of the public of everybody.
That infringes on the rights of the person that was arrested that day.
Yep, that's true.
I'm allowed to have panic attacks.
We're allowed to have panic attacks. We're allowed to live our lives. They are not allowed to keep harassing us.
What's going on?
How many times do police and people need to be here?
They have you on video arguing, by the way.
We do argue, by the way. This is nobody's business. We're not fighting. We're arguing. We're not breaking any laws. We're not breaking any laws. We're not hurting anybody.
We're not even. It's not even.
We're not the ones playing music until 3 in the morning.
When I report these guys,
you need to stop coming and harassing us.
When I report these guys for having their music on at 2 or 3 in the morning, nothing happens. So you know what? And then we have a heated discussion because
during the day,
when it's noise when noise is allotted.
You guys are coming together. You guys are working as a team, so you aren't fighting anymore. Thank you.
Oh, you're just, bless your ever-loving heart. Thank you for coming to check on me, because I'm not a grown woman.
So whoever she's with, daughter, I don't know, roommate, whatever, started fighting with each other. They called the cops, and now they're working together against the cops. Am I correct?
It's really not appropriate to continue to slam.
And
on
these are the maintenance people that are constantly harassing, banging on the doors that I
Coming
have
in when I'm
recordings of,
naked after
coming in
maintenance hours.
illegally.
This
And
one's
these
the
are
one
the
that came in
people.
when I was naked,
And
butt
you
naked.
guys telling us they're not breaking any laws.
Emily's her daughter, yeah.
It was 5:29.
Lawyer says they're breaking laws. They've had to pay fines for this. And yet you guys will come out here just because we're having a
You're not
heated
allowed to film up
discussion.
onto our balcony, dude. You work for the management. You're not allowed to film up here, dude. That's even in the contract.
Yeah,
You're not
you
allowed to film
can't.
onto
It
other
says
people's
in our
property.
lease that
Go
you're
ahead
not
and film me,
supposed to
though. I
do
will
that.
report you to your
In
management.
fact, I reported it when David did it, and he got in trouble for it.
He can't
So
be recording
continue
it.
to record us on our private balcony.
All I'm asking if you guys to keep it down because neighbors asked us that they're screaming, yelling at each other.
Okay, well then tell these guys to keep their shit down at night.
And tell them to quit fighting and kicking.
So they're screaming and bothering people on their balcony. They call the cops because people are worried, and now they're teaming up against the cops and saying it's perfectly normal to scream at the top of your lungs on the balcony. Am I correct?
each other out and having crack pipes out there.
and
Smoking their
tweakers that are attacking me
cigarettes
with
under
stuff.
here. We report that all the time. Nobody comes and says shit to them.
Nobody comes and harasses
So all
them,
you do
so-
is sit here and harass us over and over and over and over and sit down there and yell at us like this,
Just
and it's
because we
getting
have a panic
old.
attack- Just because we have a panic attack, you tell
This
us
is,
to
and
keep
then
it
you
down.
antagonize it and call the police.
telling us to keep it
That
down
is
when we have-
illegal.
telling us to
It's
keep it-
false
No.
reporting.
Telling us to keep it down when we have panic attacks is illegal. It's against the Americans with Disabilities Act. Legally, it's the first sentence of the Americans with Disabilities Act that you're supposed to treat us differently, and you're not.
They're busting out the Americans with Disability Act because they have panic attacks?
So you need to stop. You need to stop harassing. But you are.
When you come over here and you stand outside the door with your ear upside the door, Mike, and I open the door and you fall in, and I got video of it.
Oh, and when you
Lawyer
came in
has
at-
it.
when you
Lawyer
came in at
has it.
5:29 when I locked the door and I was buck ass naked, and I was buck ass naked. when
Oh,
you came in
it's
and
happening.
After I locked the door. After I locked the door and poked your head in.
You
the
came in here to see my kid naked.
What the
I
fuck?
locked the door. I locked.
That's
the
why
door.
they paid me the $100, dude.
I locked
Because
the
you were
door.
illegal. What you do is illegal. Getting into the mailboxes, having a key to the
Oh, yeah,
mailbox
but
is
not
illegal.
to the mailboxes by
Getting
way of-
into my mail is illegal. Oh, that don't matter. I
still
called
work
the
with us.
I called the
They still
post
live
office
here.
investigators, and they said what you do is a
And you're not
federal
supposed to have a copy
offense.
of ours
It's a
anyway.
felony. You're not supposed to have a copy of my mailbox key.
They have a copy of our mailbox key while we're still living here. It's not legal.
I have video of them in the mailboxes. It's a federal offense.
And the person that they were in the mailbox for was still currently.
I
lives
talked to
here.
the federal
Still currently
investigator.
lives here.
The
Still currently
inspector.
lives here.
George is the federal investigator, and you're full of crap.
Holy shit, what's happening? It's getting worse. It is getting worse and worse and worse.
Everything they do is illegal.
Reporting us to the cop because we have mental health is not legal. It's not.
But as my grandbabies, well, I call them baby grands because they are, they're grand to me, and
Blessed be.
Oh,
I am
no.
so grateful that I have kept video record and written documentation of almost everything to do with the behavior of the neighbors. I'm sorry
She's
that
pilled-
I've had to
pilled
go
out.
through so much with the landlords and the
She's
other
pilled out.
neighbors in order to keep such diligent records again. But I'm so glad it's illegal.
Oh my God.
I hate it, but this is where I'm at. I'm still recovering a bit from surgery, so all of this Oh, whoops, I almost showed a areola. It's illegal with the nipple, but the areola is still legal federally. Anyhow, I'm still recovering. See, look how nicely that bruise is in the scar is healing. It's sort of itching finally, which means it's healing, which is a beautiful thing. Oh, excuse me. It was a ventral hernia caused by, from when I was extremely obese. It was a ball, like a fat cyst, but because I hyperventilate when I have panic attacks, it was constantly pushing and pushing and pounding on the ventral wall, which is the muscle that protects the lower part. It's the upper abdomen, the upper abdominal muscles. It's these right here. You know what I mean. I don't need to show you, but the upper abdominal muscles. Anyway, it's those that protect the lower rib cage and the lower part of the lungs and the stomach. Anyhow, constantly pounding because the diaphragm moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So it kind of proved its way through when I was poisoned and had that semi-stroke thing, and was constantly having to compensate from this side being paralyzed to using this side, and then the Kundalini yoga because I had to learn to coordinate both sides together again. So I'm recovering from that, and I was having to go to court with these people, plus the fact that I am non-confrontational. I react to other people coming to me. I don't even interact with people outside of my home. I respond to people, like the automatic response when people say good morning. Well, I'm trying to retrain myself not to smile every time because I'm not happy every time, and I don't want to pretend to be anymore, which I had to be from the time I was small, doing pageants and things like that. So I'm trying to unlearn what I know to be true. And it's one of the hardest things ever because everything in my life is an unlearning right now. The racism from my family is a constant thing. I have to constantly remind myself that I'm part Native American. I'm more Native American than I am white. And that's a hard one because then my whole family on my mother's side, aside from my mother, is welcome to America and now speak English. That kind of white people who are actually native, I don't understand. It's like being freaking Hitler and killing off Jews when he was half Jewish. My whole life is a bunch of hypocrites. I might as well just move into a soapbox. Live in a soapbox. That way if I feel high on the horse, I can just stand upon it. And if I feel like caging myself in, I can just climb inside. Like a turtle carrying my home around. People laugh like I'm kidding. My truth is funny to other people. My suffering. My tagline I learned from my abusive husband is you laugh like I'm kidding. But he'd say it with that sociopathic look. You laugh.
Oh no.
Like you think I'm kidding.
Oh no.
Or you laugh like you know I'm kidding. And I've learned to do it. I have borderline personality disorder. I can do it quite well. I can hide quite well. I can cut off my emotions quite well. But I don't like getting to that point because when I get to that point, it eats at my soul. I've learned how to be authentic, and I'm learning how to be more and more authentic every day. So any kind of lying, anything that goes against my soul now, crushes me. I used to pray for the eyes of Christ, and I warn everybody, don't do that because you'll get them. If you're really open and receptive, you'll get them. The thing about me, though, is I've always had them. I never had to pray for them. I've always been told I feel too much, I laugh too hard, I sing too loud. Imagine if I haven't tried to curb myself, exactly how out of control I would be and histrionic and need to be in an asylum. part of me is grateful it was whipped out of me, but part of me is horrible at it because I always had to raise my kids, do as I say, not as I do. Because
Sorry, JJ, going a little late.
And it was beaten into me, and it's hard for me to unlearn it. Not an excuse to keep doing it, but still a reason. So I rambled off on this rant because I'm having PTSD going in and out of reliving all of this stuff with the neighbors and the violence with their dog coming into my apartment and snapping at my daughter's dog. And the confrontations from this woman who shoulder bumps me in the hallway, and when I called the police and say she threatened to kick my ass, they tell me no crime has been committed and to take it up with my landlords. Well, I have a mental illness, so taking it up with people is hard. And the mental illness is exacerbated by being poisoned. See, I used to be a very strong, independent woman. Ask people that knew me before 2015. Ask almost anybody that actually knew me. I was strong and independent. Whether they liked me or not, I was still strong and independent and very self-assured. I knew who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know how to be a good parent. I was always looking to better myself. But I was very sure of who I was. My self-esteem has always been high because I know I'm worthwhile. The rest of the world just doesn't see me, and that's frustrating. My daughter, my dear old Emily, is teaching me to voice who I am without fear. Well, that kind of scares me because voicing who I am without fear, there's risks and fallout. Tact is never something I've learned, but I have learned how to shut up, smile, and look pretty. I don't like that side of me. So I don't know why I needed to rant, but I had to vent somewhere, and I guess this was as good a place, and I couldn't sit down in the studio because when I sat in the studio, all I kept doing was thinking about this restraining order bullshit. Because I gotta get everything in chronological order, and you know, before 2015, ask my professors, I was a research hound. I would research stuff to the point that my OCD would get me that I would throw away an entire quarter's worth of work and redo it in a week because I wasn't satisfied with any of it. And I'd even change the entire thesis. And I'd still manage to get a 4.0 or better. Now I can barely remember things, and I get my dates flip-flopped, and when I want to say Clark County because I lived in Cowlitz County for so long, I keep saying Cowlitz